It was evening. Edward had had a busy day, and as he stopped at the last station before the junction, he was looking forward to getting home. Beep, beep. "Get in quickly, please," he whistled to the passengers. The passengers got in quickly, and Edward's driver pulled the lever. But Edward found that he couldn't move. The driver checked Edward's brakes, but nothing seemed to be wrong. He scratched his head. Whatever can be the matter, he wondered. He gave Edward more steam. This time, Edward started, but went only a little way before he stopped with a groan. "It's no good," the driver said to the fireman. "Something is holding us back. Go and see if the guard can help, please." The fireman jumped down to the platform and ran along to the guard's van. "What's up?" demanded the guard. "Reckon the brakes have seized on," said the fireman. "Is yours off, all right?" "Should be," replied the guard, and he tried to turn the handle, but it wouldn't move. The fireman helped, but they still couldn't turn it. So they called the driver, but it made no difference. The brake handle had stuck fast. "We shall miss Henry's connection at the junction if we can't start soon," said the driver. "Let's give Edward everything he's got and hope for the best." "It'll be hard work," he told Edward, "but I'm sure you'll do your best." Rather doubtfully, Edward agreed. "Come on! Come on! Come on!" He puffed fiercely. Smoking steam poured from his funnel, and slowly the train moved after him. Once they were moving, things became easier, but Edward found that he couldn't go fast however hard he tried. Oh dear, he said. "I'm sure we shall miss Henry's train." Then, suddenly, there was a jerk, and everything was easy. They reached the junction quickly, and while the passengers changed to Henry's train, Edward's fireman went to find out what had been wrong with the guard's brake. "One tiny nut," he told them when he came back. "It broke and jammed itself against the brake so that we couldn't turn the handle. Then, after we started, the brake itself broke so that we could move properly." The driver laughed. "Come on, Edward," he said. "Let's get that guard's van into a siding, where it can be mended." Who would have thought that one small nut could cause so much trouble? One of the stations on Thomas's branch line is near an airfield. Sometimes flying displays are held there during the summer, and then Annie and Clarabelle, as well as special trains pulled by Percy and Toby, are full. When the flying has finished, the visitors get into the trains again so that Thomas and his friends can take them home. "Fancy giving yourself a stiff neck watching all that," Thomas said scornfully. "I've got better things to do." But Percy liked the aeroplanes. "I think it's fun," he said. "It must be nice to be able to fly wherever you want." "Pooh," scoffed Thomas. "Who needs to buzz about like that? I'd rather have my safe rails, thank you." One day, Percy came to Farquhar with startling news. Some men had arrived at the airfield and were being taken up in an aeroplane so that they could jump out of it. "They've got sort of umbrella things," Percy explained. "They open and carry the men down safely." "They're called parachutes," said Thomas's driver. "The men are from the army. They've come on a special training exercise." "Stupid nonsense," grunted Thomas, and went to the shed for a rest. The parachute exercise went on all next day, too. That evening, when Thomas stopped at the station by the river for a drink, the station master came along the platform. "Hold the train for a few minutes, please," he said to the guard. "One of those parachute chaps has landed in the river, and they think the best way to get him back to the airfield is by train." "Humph," muttered Thomas grumpily. "Serves him right. I've a good mind not to wait." "Now, Thomas," warned his driver, "just remember where you would have been if Terence hadn't helped you out of the snow." Thomas did remember. He said he was sorry, and a few minutes later the soldier, very wet and miserable, was helped into Clarabelle. The signal lifted, the guard blew his whistle, and Thomas set off. "Hurry, hurry, hurry," he puffed. He was anxious to make up for his bad temper. It wasn't far to the airfield, and Thomas reached the station quicker than ever. The soldier was helped off the train, and his officer came to thank Thomas. "I'm glad I could help," Thomas told Percy in the shed that night, "but I still think that jumping out of aeroplanes is silly."